Thomas Matthews had almost canceled 3 times that day. At 58, he'd been through enough disappointing blind dates to fill a book. His daughter Emma had set this one up, insisting with that determined tone she'd inherited from her late mother. "Dad, just meet her, please. Her name is Caroline Harper. She's wonderful." The cafe was one of those modern places with Edison bulbs and exposed brick. Thomas arrived 10 minutes early, wiping his palms on his jeans. Through the window, he watched the evening traffic roll by, each passing car giving him an excuse to leave. Then he saw her. Caroline Harper was being helped from a van by a driver. She sat in a sleek black wheelchair, her blonde hair catching the streetlights like spun gold. She wore a cream-colored blazer over an elegant dress, pearl earrings, and a confident smile as she thanked her driver. Thomas felt his breath catch. Not from surprise at the wheelchair, but from the sudden, unwelcome voice in his head whispering all the reasons this wouldn't work. All the complications, all the things he didn't know how to handle. He could slip out the back door, text an apology later, blame a work emergency. But then Caroline wheeled herself through the door, and her eyes found his. They were kind eyes, intelligent, and perhaps a little nervous too. Thomas stood. His feet made the decision his mind couldn't. "Caroline?" His voice came out steadier than he felt. "Thomas." She smiled, extending her hand. Her grip was firm, warm. "Thank you for coming." They settled at a table by the window. Thomas fumbled with the menu, acutely aware of every word he chose. Should he offer to help? Would that be insulting? The silence stretched between them like taffy. "I'm the CEO of a marketing firm," Caroline said, mercifully filling the quiet. "Been doing it for 12 years now. We specialize in accessibility consulting for major brands." "That sounds impressive," Thomas replied, and he meant it. But his words felt wooden, rehearsed. The waiter appeared. They ordered sandwiches and iced tea. Thomas watched Caroline handle the menu with practiced ease, navigating everything with a competence that made his own awkwardness feel even more pronounced. "I should probably address the elephant in the room," Caroline said gently after the waiter left. "Or should I say the wheelchair at the table?" Thomas felt heat crawl up his neck. "I didn't want to. I wasn't sure if—" "It's okay." Her voice was patient, without a trace of judgment. "I was in a car accident 8 years ago. Spinal injury. I've had a lot of time to adjust, but I understand it can be surprising for someone meeting me for the first time." Thomas nodded, still struggling to find the right words. His late wife, Margaret, would have known what to say. She always did. The sandwiches arrived. Thomas picked at his food, managing small talk about work, about the weather, about anything that felt safe. But underneath it all, he felt like a coward. This accomplished, beautiful woman deserved better than his nervous half-sentences. Caroline seemed to sense his discomfort. She answered his questions graciously, shared stories from her work, even laughed at his awkward attempt at humor. But as the minutes ticked by, Thomas saw something shift in her expression. A quiet resignation settling into those kind eyes. She thought he was just going through the motions, and he couldn't blame her. "Thomas," she said finally, setting down her glass. "I want to thank you." "For what?" he asked, confused. "For seeing me." Her smile was gentle, but there was an ocean of experience behind it. "I've been on quite a few of these first dates since my accident, and I can always tell within the first few minutes whether someone actually sees me, Caroline the person, or just the wheelchair and everything they assume comes with it." Thomas felt something crack open in his chest. Shame, yes, but also recognition. "You've been kind," Caroline continued. "You showed up. You stayed. A lot of men don't even make it that far. So thank you for that. It means more than you might think." In that moment, Thomas saw himself clearly. He'd spent the entire evening so worried about saying the wrong thing, so conscious of the wheelchair, that he'd forgotten to simply be present, to see the woman in front of him, not as a puzzle to solve or a situation to navigate, but as another human being with hopes and fears and stories to tell. "Caroline, I need to apologize," he said, his voice rough. "I've been terrible company. Not because of you, because of me. Because I got scared." She tilted her head, listening. "My wife died 4 years ago," Thomas continued, the words coming easier now. "Cancer. And since then, I've been careful, maybe too careful. My daughter keeps telling me I'm living like I'm already gone. And tonight, when I saw you, I saw someone remarkable. Someone who's clearly braver than I've been in a long time. And instead of rising to meet that, I retreated. Caroline's expression softened. I'd like to start over, Thomas said, if you're willing. No more nervousness, no more tiptoeing. Just two people getting to know each other. What do you say? For a long moment, Caroline studied him. Then slowly, she smiled. A real smile this time, one that reached her eyes. I'd like that, she said, and so they began again. This time, Thomas asked real questions. He learned about her company's latest project, redesigning airport signage for better accessibility. She asked about his work as a high school history teacher, and he found himself telling her about his students, about the kid who'd just discovered a passion for the Civil War, about the challenges and joys that made each day different. They talked about books they'd loved, movies they'd hated, places they dreamed of visiting. Caroline described her adaptive skiing trips to Colorado. Thomas shared stories about teaching Margaret to fish and how she'd caught a bigger trout than him on their first trip. She sounds like she was wonderful, Caroline said. She was, Thomas replied, and she would have liked you. She always said I needed someone who wouldn't let me hide from the world. Caroline laughed, a warm sound that seemed to light up the cafe. I'm pretty good at calling out hiding. The evening stretched on. Other diners came and went. The sky outside deepened to indigo, then black. Thomas found himself leaning forward, not wanting to miss a word. He noticed the way Caroline's eyes crinkled when she laughed, the intelligence and humor that sparkled in every story she shared. When the cafe lights blinked, signaling closing time, Thomas couldn't believe 3 hours had passed. I should probably go, Caroline said, though she didn't sound eager to leave. Let me walk you to your van, Thomas offered. Then he paused. Is that okay? I don't want to assume. It's more than okay, Caroline said warmly. It's thoughtful. Outside, the night air was cool and sweet. Street lamps cast pools of golden light on the sidewalk. Thomas walked beside Caroline, matching her pace naturally now, comfortably. At the van, the driver waiting patiently, Caroline turned to him. This was unexpected, she said. In the best way. For me too, Thomas admitted. I almost didn't come tonight. I'm really glad I did. Would you like to do this again? Caroline asked. There was no game playing in her voice, no pretense. Just honest interest. Yes, Thomas said without hesitation. I really would. Caroline smiled, that beautiful smile that he was already starting to cherish. Then let's plan on it, she said. Maybe dinner next time? There's an Italian place I love. Great food, terrible parking, Thomas laughed. Sounds perfect. As he watched the van pull away, Thomas felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. The kind that comes from genuine connection, from seeing and being seen. He pulled out his phone and texted Emma. You were right. She's wonderful. Thank you, the response came immediately. I knew it. Details tomorrow. Walking to his car, Thomas realized that courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's showing up even when you're scared. Sometimes it's letting someone see you, truly see you, walls down and heart open, and sometimes, if you're very lucky, someone sees you right back. The evening hadn't gone the way Thomas expected. It had gone better. Because in the end, it wasn't about wheelchairs or accidents or the stories we tell ourselves about what's possible. It was about two people, both carrying their own histories, both brave enough to try again. And that, Thomas thought as he drove home through the quiet streets, was the beginning of something real.